So I picked up a couple chunks of this Ambrosia maple, and they measure about 8 inches by 10.5. I knew it was Ambrosia, but I wasn't sure what else was inside, but I was confident it was going to be pretty. So I planed it down, and this is what I found. I don't gamble, but I feel like I won the jackpot with this one. This is going to be a pretty one. Look at that figure. Since this chunk of wood is a rectangle, I wanted to make it bigger, not smaller. So I decided to add some wood, like I like to do, to the middle of this. So I ripped it at about the 1/3 mark. And then I dug into my scrap wood buckets. I've got a couple of those, quite a bit of scrap wood from projects throughout the years. And I found some cherry that I thought would be a contrasting but subtle addition to the bowl. I just thought it would look really nice. And then I decided to add a little bit of walnut just for interest. And I let that dry overnight. And here I'm just placing the worm screw into the chuck so that I can mount the bowl blank onto the chuck using that hole I just drilled. And I'll work on the bottom of the bowl first. Look at that. I'm probably going to say that a few times during this video, but oh my goodness, that's pretty. Len Shrek. This is the surface of my bowl gouge grind that you wanted to see. I used a 600 grit CBN grinding wheel on a slow speed grinder with the Wolverine system to sharpen this. So even with a great big 3/4 inch Carter & Son bowl gouge with a gentle touch, you can produce those fine hair-like shavings. Now here I'm just marking the mortise and then the foot width of the bowl. And since that beautiful figure is really prevalent on the base of this bowl, what I'm doing is just barely making that foot proud from the base. So basically you can slide a piece of paper under it. It looks like a floating bowl, or it will when I'm done with it. Once I've got it shaped like I want it, I sand it from 150 to 500 grits, clean it up with some denatured alcohol, resand at 500 grits, and then hit it with some shine juice. I do all that before I flip it. I'm just kind of speechless looking at that. That is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, before I get to work on the inside of this bowl, let's see what some of you have been up to. Polly Robinson turned her first bowl. What a beautiful bowl. Good job. Paul Dove's made some beautiful bowls too. Find him on Instagram at Wood and Metal and Stuff. Nice. And last but not least, Daryl Pickett. This is one beautiful rustic looking bowl. Love it. I don't really have the words in my inventory to tell you how much I appreciate your support by subscribing. Those of you that have, you are my motivation. I just can't thank you enough. And if you haven't, please do. And if you don't, I still want to thank you for watching. But consider subscribing. Okay, moving right along. You can see I've got the tailstock up for initial support, but as always with bowls, the tailstock has to come back so that you can work on the middle of the bowl. So you just make sure that your bowl's mounted firmly and you're not being overly aggressive without that extra support. Because one bad check or a moment of inattention can send that bowl flying out of that chuck. And nobody wants that. So before I hog out the rest of the inside of that bowl, I had decided to make a ring using some more of that scrap cherry wood. So here I'm cutting some of those scraps into segments. And I did a 16 segment ring, plus 16 little walnut inserts. And then I let that dry while I finished up the inside of the bowl. And this is one ugly ring. Look at that thing. Okay, don't. I used, I think, 3 different thickness in scrap wood there. I did flatten out the one side, obviously, before I attached it. But wow, that's an ugly ring. But it's also proof that, look at that thing. It's also proof that segmented rings are not that difficult to make. Okay, get ready now. We're going up close. Now this is that great big 3/4 inch bowl gouge I got from Carter and Son, and I just want to show you the delicate work that can be done with it. Look at the finish on this wood. Oh, and you might want to know the RPM of the lathe right now is at about 850. So not very fast. Still, to get those results is pretty impressive. Of course, I resanded after I wiped it down with denatured alcohol to knock down the burrs. And then I wiped it down again and added a whole bunch of coats of OB shine juice. This maple just soaked it up. I'm so happy with this bowl. I love the subtle contrast between the cherry and the ambrosia maple, because the ambrosia brings in so many nice colors. Kind of a plain looking bowl blank there that turned into something like this. This is beautiful. Sorry if I'm saying so myself, but look at that thing. Oh my goodness. Stick around after my final word. I added quite a few still pictures of this because it's so pretty. Hey, thanks again for watching. Semper Fi.